Crystal Mineral Water is a sanctuary of refreshment. The quality of each crystal bottle is stringently verified.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Idris Matus Segawa, and right about now we have entered that segment that is Take Note. Taking note on some of the issues that you might probably not give attention, but they affect your life. And in studio, I have Mr. Mubangizi Prosper, an advocacy specialist from World Vision, to talk about how the 2022 framework paper fares on child-friendly budgeting. Mr. Mubangizi.
Yes.
Mubangizi.
Yes.
I'll stick to Prosper.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you are a specialist.
Yes.
What do you do as a specialist?
Yeah, as a specialist, my role involves around advising World Vision Uganda with its advocacy agenda and external engagement, leading and supporting policy analysis, lobbying, and putting out issues of interest for child well-being out to the outside world.
So you're a big boy, yeah? You are the big boys we've been looking for.
But we are not chilling with the big boys now.
Very true indeed. Now, Prosper,
yes.
Parliament has been scrutinizing the financial year 2020-2023 National Budget Framework paper. How is the budget responding to the needs of children?
Yeah, thank you. One is, for this year we are just ending, we had about 44.6 trillion. So this financial year, the resource envelope has kind of reduced to about 43 trillion. But the good thing is that for, I think, the once in a while moment, we are having at least a little bit more child-focused budgeting. For instance, we have seen the child protection budget in the 4 areas of justice, law and order sector, human capital development, community mobilization and engagement. We have seen it rise from 77 billion, which was this year we are ending, to about 153.08 billion. So that is about 115% increment. So that is something we would ideally celebrate. We are also seeing, for instance, human capital development alone, which is a sector that entails education, nutrition, health, and which are the main sectors for children. We are seeing its budget rise to 6.9 trillion. Right, I think it's now for the first time it's surpassing security and governance because security and governance is on about 6.4 trillion. So I think government has for instance, risen up the challenge that COVID-19 has presented for children and tried to allocate resources that can help children live better, safer lives, more nourished and fed. I think for us in advocacy, we normally go by the low-hanging fruits. So those are the low-hanging fruits we are seeing in this year's National Budget Framework, which has been adopted by Parliament. Yeah.
You've talked about different sectors that have been given money and that affect children directly. Shouldn't this be a recurring thing that the budget should address?
Yes, it should ideally be happening because the different protocols government has signed, it commits to spending a certain section of its budget toward the sectors which are child friendly. So it should be recurrent. Government should be doing it every now and then because we are having 49% of the population being from 0 to 14 ages, 14 years. Then about to 56% being below the age of 18. So it means that in Uganda, wherever you walk, you will meet a child, you will meet someone below 18 years. So that should be reflecting in the budgets we make. It should be reflecting in the policies we make. It should be reflecting in the laws we make and in the programs we adopt. If we are adopting parish development model, how are children being catered for? If you're talking of whatever program we talk about, a yoga and whatever, how are children being reflected? Because wherever you walk, actually one time it was said that if you walk in Uganda, you are likely to meet someone who's aged 14.5 years, and most likely they will be a female. So wherever you walk, you will meet a child. So the budgeting should be recurrent and recurrently bringing out, manifesting the childness of Uganda as a country.
Why do you think it hasn't been the issue? the issue before that children have not been given focus in the budget?
Yeah, the first one could be institutional, because naturally children don't speak for themselves. They are relying on Mubanji's from somewhere.
I know.
Who's paid to speak for them, maybe. So because they can't speak for themselves, they rarely get onto the policy-making table. So their views can't be captured. Secondly, the issue of children is integrated. It can be integrated, for instance, if we are talking of education. You know, in Uganda we shall have more people at primary level, then less at secondary level, and then least at tertiary level. Actually, about 3% of Ugandans get tertiary education.
Yeah. But
we shall find about 77% of Ugandans at primary level. So when, for instance, if we budget for education, we may not say this is for children, but ideally we are budgeting for children because it's them who benefit from that. Yes, if we talk of health will most likely be targeting a child, because actually most of the health interventions are from 0 to 5 years. That's why most of the health interventions are targeting. So neonatal health, whatever. So because of the integrated nature of children, they rarely tend to be lost in the bigger budgets, because you know budgets are big things. For instance, this national budget framework paper is about 1,000 something pages. So yet I was reviewing and I found about children are coming in only 31 times in 1,000 something pages. But it is because of the integrated nature that we rarely bring them out. So the issue of children come out and they tend to be lost in that integrated nature of it. And now it will be worse with the program-based budgeting, because when we are under sector-based budgeting, it would be easy, for instance, we talk about Ministry of Gender, they will come in. We talk about Ministry of Education, they will come in. But now we are talking, for instance, under human capital development, we are clamping the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, even the Ministry of Local Government under one program. So now children will be more lost in the budget. But the good thing that we are seeing the sectors coming out more
prominently.
Yeah.
Prosper,
yes.
It's a framework.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a guarantee that it's going to actually be adapted the way it is?
Yeah, currently, according to the Public Finance Management Act 2015, Parliament has done what should be done. It passed the framework as it was. So now what we are waiting for is it coming in through the ministerial policy statements. But going by what we have already seen in Uganda's political terrain, most times when Parliament passes the budget framework paper, it is most likely that the deviations in the ministerial policy statements will be few. But then the guarantee we have is that, for instance, under as CSOs, we took up the initiative to review the budget framework paper and go to the different line ministries, meet them and say to them and say, for instance, the 153.8 billion that has been budgeted for child protection, the only thing you can do as a ministry is increase it, not reduce it. So we have had some of these, and even commitments, by the way, from the ministries we have made from our review of the budget framework paper, saying when you come to the ministerial policy statements, the best thing you can do is increase. For instance, because issues are increasing, schools have just opened. There is a fear that more than 4 million children may not go back to school. So you cannot talk of reducing the 3.6 trillion that has been budgeted for education. We are talking of increases in child marriage. We are predicting a baby boom because of people the lockdown. so would be sad if the 2.4 trillion that is budgeted for health was cut. Actually, we want it to be increased to begin looking at those issues because of the baby boom we are expecting. These different issues that have been brought in by the lockdown. So the best that the ministries could do through their ministerial policy statements, which will be presented to Parliament, I think, in the next 1 week, would be increase on those specific sectors that clearly target children, because when you target children, you are targeting the country, given the dynamics of the demographics.
Amazing. As we conclude this conversation, Mr. Mubangizi, what are some of your other recommendations? Yeah,
one, we have mainly focused on government, but there is this elephant in the room called official development assistance, ODA, because official development assistance is what the donors and partners put into the country. Last year, the United States spent about $953 million as ODA to Uganda.
Amazing.
But of that, only about 1.6 was targeting child protection, for instance. So we need to see more of the official government assistance coming in and targeting child-specific sectors, and one of them is the sector of child protection. So a recommendation is the donor community, the government partners, need to up the game on how much they spend on children, because they are the foundation. Other things will come in, but if we negate children, then we shall be doing what we normally call the remedial kind of social work. We are getting people from the river water drowning, but we will stop them from drowning by being at the upstream. So donors and government community have to up that. The second recommendation is that, for instance, government is to put in. One of them could be through the National Children's Authority, which was created by the Children's Act. We need to see it take a leading role in terms of children-focused budgeting, children-focused planning and programming, because it is the only agency that is mandated with the welfare of children, and it is incorporated. It is an act of parliament. So we need to see more of it come up, which I'm not seeing, because right now NCA is operating more as a civil society, waiting for donor support from the government partners. So NCA needs to be really supported to take its leading role for children-focused planning, budgeting, legislation, and the like. Then, of course, even us as civil society organizations, you see, we also have an accountability function. We don't only work to hold others to account. No, we have to equally be able to account. How much are we spending in issues of, for instance, child protection? And how much of our budgets are we dedicating to children? So, as civil society, we have really to work on that. Then the fourth one would be on local government, because you see, the Local Government Act mandates local governments gives them the responsibility of child protection, the responsibility of family, of community development. So, local governments have to take up a leading role, and one of them could be through local revenue. Because if, for instance, a local government like Chubuku raises 1 billion shillings in a year as local revenue, how much of it is dedicated to issues of children? Because if we neglect that and only way that we use the conditional and unconditional grants that are coming from the center to the lower, then we shall be missing a point. So we quite have to see local governments, districts, sub-counties, how much of their local revenues are being dedicated to issues of children. From there, because once the local governments are operating and really planning for children, I think we are happy that this budget framework paper is dedicating certain sums of money towards building the capacity of about 88 local governments into child-focused budgeting and programming. I think that one will go a long way in helping us to really curb these deficiencies in child upbringing that we are facing as a country.
Well, Mr. Mubangizi Prosper, an advocacy specialist with World Vision, thank you so much for having this very interesting talk with us, and we hope to have you back so that we can, you know, break it down even further. But right about now, I want to cross over to Stephen Mbide, who is in Wakaliga talking to the Lord Mayor. Stephen? Stephen?
Yes, morning to you, Idris Matus Sagawa. You know, there was a German Lutheran pastor who was called Martin Nimora. He once said that first they came for the Pharisees. I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Pharisee. They then came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't one of them.